Ladies and gentlemen, honourable guests, welcome to the 13th Philippine Mining Club Luncheon. My name is Kevin Lewis. I hope that you all have an enjoyable and informative afternoon with us today. Just before we get going, I'd like to mention some very important people, and they are our sponsors. I'll start with our bronze sponsors. Cardno, an international integrated professional service provider, locally delivering specialist advice necessary to create and improve the physical and social infrastructure that underpins communities around the world. FL Smide, our pioneer sponsor. Leo's here and Ray today, they're great guys, a global company, a leading supplier of complete plant, equipment, services to the global cement minerals industry with more than 13,000 employees and a local presence in over 50 countries. Lomar Logistics. Lomar is focused on energy and resources related activities, oil exploration and mining, and has diversed into a broader range of consultancy, logistics and representative services. Mr. Keith Schuster is here today, and JJ. Intertech, everyone knows Intertech. They're a leading independent international service company employing more than 30,000 people with local laboratories and personnel providing geophysical, mineral, environmental, oil and gas, analytics services, as well as ship surveying, inspection and commodity testing services. Weir Minerals, I think Rudy's here today. Weir Minerals delivers end-to-end solutions for all mining, transportation, milling, processing, waste management activities. Let's welcome RDCL, Specialist Geotechnical Services, Mine and Mine Infrastructure, Underground, Open Pit, Hard rock and coal geology, civil infrastructure, geotechnical, earthquake engineering, specialist ground testing, cone, I can't say that word, testing, CPT, and seismic SCPT, geophysics and ground engineering. RDSL are a New Zealand company and has just started in the Philippines in last year and have had great success. Vermeer, and we have Ian with us today. For over 60 years, Vermeer Corporation has been providing leading solutions for a wide variety of industries, including surface mining, underground, utility installation, pipeline excavation. Vermeer CPTE Ltd is the authorised exclusive dealer of Vermeer equipment in many Southeast Asian markets, including the Philippines. We welcome Vermeer. Our silver sponsors. QED, Quest Exploration Drilling. Alan is at the Melbourne Mining Club, which is at Lord's in London today I think it is. And by the way, the Philippine Mining Club is affiliated with the Melbourne Mining Club, and they're having an event at Lord's today, so Alan Blackley is there. QED, Asia's leading exploration drilling company, modern equipment with well-trained staff, has alleviated QED to become the benchmark for international standard drilling operations, generally typified by logistical constraints, geological complexity and topographical extremes. Resource Advisors, Graham is not with us today, unfortunately, an internationally recognised consultancy that provides a comprehensive and innovative range of human resources management services to the mining, oil, gas and engineering, construction and manufacturing sectors. Leo will tell you a bit more about that. And of course, GHD. We've got Anne with us today, Anne and Leavitt, the country manager, and Bing. Their clients benefit from high professional skills of their staff and their ability to draw on GHD's international resources for various specialist skills and services required to support any development. That's GHD. Oztai Geophysics and Geotechnical Limited, an expert advice and guidance for geophysical exploration programs carried out in the mining and metal sector. Oztai can also provide a wide range of geophysical services to the environmental and engineering industries. AECOM, very good friends of ours. And by the way, all of these sponsors' brochures are there, so please take them. You'll find them on some of the tables as well as in the registration area. AECOM, a global provider of professional technical management support services to a broad range of markets, including transportation, facilities, environmental, energy, water, and government. In the Philippines, AECOM has been providing engineering, environmental consultancy services since 1996 for mining, port power, water, toll road, oil and gas, and real estate and manufacturing industries. That's AECOM. And our gold sponsor. Lockforce is an Australian-owned consultancy company with more than 150 staff and with various operations all over the world. Lockforce provides comprehensive solutions to your needs through a broad scope of professional consultancy and auditing services, including security services, training seminars, driver training courses. Lockforce also helps companies implement and maintain ISO certification. Visit their website for more information on the many services offered. Lockforce recently ran a series of ISO awareness training seminars just last week, which were a huge success for the company. They were attended by a range of companies including Chevron, Otto Energy, Arelco, First Balfour, and Hinduja, which is the shipping company, I think. Due to popular demand, Lockforce will be running more public awareness training seminars in September, which will focus on security management, risk management, quality systems. They will cover ISO 28000 and ISO 31000 and ISO 9000. So please contact Lockforce for further details. Lockforce has also published, which is quite nifty, a personal travel security pocket guide, which I've got here. Lockforce has a booth at the back of the room, so these guides are available free of charge. Also, one that will interest a lot of people, especially Mr. Leo Domingos, is the four-wheel drive handbook. Copies are free, so please have a chat with the Lockforce team. Tim's here, Troy, Matt. I think we've got the full contingent. And please visit their booth at the back of the room. As usual, Mr. Dean Homer, Big Dean Homer from Chroma Graphics Photography, is here roaming the room taking photos of all our happy smiling faces. All those photos will be published on the website, and of course they're free to download. Ladies and gentlemen, I would just, may I say a few words about our Master of Ceremonies, Leo. Leo is a lawyer who retired in July 2010 as a partner of Quisumbing Torres Law Office, member firm of Baker McKenzie International, where he headed its energy, mining and infrastructure group. Leo now heads his own consulting firm that caters principally to the mining industry. He's also president of Resource Advisors in the Philippines. Leo, when he's not out consulting, Leo and his friends from the Land Rover Club, the Land Rover 4-Wheel Drive Club, organise medical missions and relief operations with Pusong Monero and the Angel Brigade, and they've done some great work regarding that. Very well respected work. In January this year, with the help of kind sponsors and donors, including Air Asia, Zuleg Pharma, St. Augustine Gold Copper, and the King Copper Gold Project, Pusong Monero helped to organise a 13-man team of Malaysian doctors, paramedics, and trained rescue experts, all off-roading enthusiasts like himself, together with other volunteers from the Land Rover Club, to assist victims from Typhoon Pablo in Comval. Leo serves as a trustee of the Philippine Australian Business Council, is a member of the Legal Committee of the Chamber of Mines of the Philippines, and a legal advisor to the Philippine Mine Safety and Environmental Association. Leo also serves on the Board of Trustees at Enactus, He he also likes to think that he's I love this bit. A transgender member of Duata, a group of women professionals who support responsible mining in the Philippines. Leo, our patron Dahlia is in Malaysia, I believe. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, may we all raise our glasses and give a big round of applause for Mr. Leo Dominguez. Before Leo gets here, you might notice that everyone has a copy of the Philippine Resources Journal. Please take that home with you, and there's extra copies there if you need. Very good reading.
Good afternoon, everyone. Last time I stood up here, I wore a hat, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do that today until I got reminded that our guest speaker is from Wyoming. So I'm going to wear my hat in his honor. So, welcome. It's a pleasure to be MC again, Kevin. Is it the 12th or the 13th? 13th. This is the 13th Philippine Mining Luncheon. And since we hold luncheons every 2 months, we must be in our 3rd year. So let's all congratulate ourselves. I know some of you have been here from day one. So let's congratulate the club for its longevity so far. You know, this room is packed with so many big hitters in the Philippine business sector. The golf courses must be empty today. By the way, our luncheon is being streamed over the internet, so we can get to an even bigger audience. So please see the flyer on your tables. It will tell you that today's luncheon proceedings are being viewed and can be viewed on any mobile device at philippineminingclub.NowPlanet.TV. And you can even send some of your questions on Twitter at Philippine Mining Club. That's high tech for you, huh? But please don't take this too seriously. We still want to see your faces here. But just in case you're abroad or somewhere, there's something going on interesting, a good speaker, you can listen to what's going on that Philippine Mining Club.NowPlanet.TV live stream. Allow me a few seconds to say something about my company, Resource Advisors. Unfortunately, my partner Graham is not here, so I won't have to say anything really, really great because he always buys me a steak dinner when I do. So we have 2 companies. One is called Resource Advisors People Solutions. The other is called Resource Advisors Search and Select. And in a nutshell, through these 2 companies, Resource Advisors provides HR or people solutions, including executive search, to the Philippine resources and infrastructure sectors. Our Resource Advisors people are in the room, so if you have any questions for them, please go ahead. Now, I'd like to start with a bit of good news. In the papers today, and this is good news for you copper companies, I read that a Chinese firm has declared force majeure at one of its smelters. And this is in a move that is likely to have 1/2 the amount of metal it supplies to customers in the next few months. Sounds like bad news, right? Hold on. And it says here, combined with outages at 2 large copper mines in the U.S. and Indonesia, lower output from this company in China could result in higher copper imports by China. So this is good news for you guys. And I think the company that we're presenting to you today is going to appreciate the news because they are a copper and gold company. So let's talk about today's luncheon. What would the mining luncheon events provide to you? For those of you who attend, well, it will give you access to key leaders in the minerals industry, both local and global, like our guest speaker, who will give you a shot of his mining company's activities. Who should come to these mining luncheons? People like you, who come from a broad range of business, not just mining. You can learn what specific mining companies are doing in the Philippines, who they are, and very importantly, how what they are doing can translate to dollars and cents for you. So if you're a banker, a stockbroker, from media, government, an investor, professional buyer, seller, a service provider, a stakeholder in the mining industry, you should come to the mining luncheons or view our proceedings on live stream on philippineminingclub.nowplanet.tv. How often are these mining luncheons? Well, every even month. That means February, March, April, and so on. How much does it cost? You will know. It's $1,650 for the lunch, and that's how much it costs to be a member of this club. This could be our fourth luncheon here at this very exclusive mining club, and please forgive me if I sound like a broken CD. You can't say record anymore. Kids don't understand. But I will say it again. You know, where else in Metro Manila will you come across a venue that has stately 100-year-old trees, fresh air, wide open spaces, and best of all, ample parking? Free parking. I once attended a similar event at a posh Makati hotel, and because I wasn't quick enough to ask the organizer for my complimentary parking ticket, I sadly found out that my parking fee almost matched the cost of my lunch. So please enjoy the fact that we're here. So if you approve of our venue, and may I ask now Telma Aranda of the Manila Polo Club, I know she's in the room. Telma, are you here? She's not? Well, let's put our hands together and clap loud enough that she hears that we appreciate very, very deeply that the Manila Polo Club is having us. Please inform days ahead of our luncheons. Please inform Kevin and his crew that you are attending. This way, Kevin can inform the Manila Polo Club how many meals to serve. If you're a walk-in without a prior reservation, well, you can avoid embarrassment and just say to the guys at your table that you're on this new juice-only diet. But worry not, when the bar opens, you'll know during the networking right after this, there's drinks in the house, limited number though, and so you'll get a fairly adequate liquid meal at that time. Anyway, it's a Friday, so you know what that means. So let me join Kevin in thanking our sponsors for their generous support. The largest room in the world is the room for additional support. So if you think that what the Philippine Mining Luncheon does is relevant to you and should be further encouraged, there are several types of sponsorships for you to choose from. Feel free to check the Philippine Mining Luncheon website or speak with Kevin. He will let you know how you could help grow this luncheon. The Cardinal Sponsored Students Table, do we have it here? Somebody raise a hand from the Cardinal Sponsored Students Table. Over there. May I ask the people sitting at the table to stand up? The students at this sponsored student table get a free lunch. And today we have, I understand, how many? Can I see all of you stand up? Wow, I thought just 5. This looks like 10. These are students of NIGS and mining engineering students from Adamson as well. So they're from the University of the Philippines. And guys, if you're looking for cadet mining professionals, feel free to talk to those guys at the table and tell them where to send their resumes when they're ready. So guys, feel free to circulate later and let people know that you will soon be available for the mining industry. So thank you very much, Cardinal, for bringing them over. And let's give Cardinal a big hand, please, because Cardinal does it every time. I wish to acknowledge the presence of some very important friends. As we normally have our patron in the room, Ambassador Delia Albert, but as we speak, she is currently in Kuala Lumpur addressing a global meeting of women, which is now being hosted by the First Lady of Malaysia. And so the First Lady has asked our Ambassador Delia Albert to be one of their speakers. So I'd like to recognize, and I see, I thought I saw Tom Henderson. Is he here? Not yet. Mr. Conrado Calalang, the president of Nadicor. Thanks for coming, sir. Leo Nitereda, Nadicor's chief counsel. There you are. Ben Sevilla, Nadicor chief financial officer. Hello, Ben. Raymond Ricafort, treasurer of Nadicor. Is Fred Ayala here? There's Fred. Fred. Oh, he's also a director of Nadicor. Good to see you here, Fred. Catherine Bondi, economic officer, U.S. Embassy, Manila. Jessica Kuhn, economic officer, intern, U.S. Embassy, Manila. Jose Raymond Apostol, Ray, president, Atok Big Wedge Company, over there. Bradley Norman, country director, Oceana Gold, who happened to be on our panel in the last luncheon. Good to see you here. Dennis Leonor, Bank of Singapore. Are you here, Dennis? Have you arrived? Oh, there you are. Mike Garcia. Hello, Mike. MBG Capital. I'm sure MB Garcia Capital. Wonderful. Antonio Severino of Nadicor. Are you here? Now, we were expecting the chairman of Nadicor to be here, but I just remembered that I had a big fail in January when I was organizing the relief operation in Comval. Our ground sponsor in Comval was St. Augustine King Project. And one of our biggest contributors and donors to the effort in terms of pharmaceuticals was Zwilig Pharma. And chairman of the board of Zwilig Pharma is Bobby Romulo. If I had known he was your chairman as well, I would have forced him to double his already very generous donation to the project Helping Hand. That is the project Helping Hand of this group. So please communicate to him that thought that, okay, my fault, I didn't connect the dots and I didn't have the information. But remember, we'll do it again. We are also, by the way, we're welcoming Philip Corbett. Are you here, Philip? Philip hasn't arrived. Well, anyway, just to let you know that Lathan's Philippines has a new country manager, and that's Philippine Corbett, and he's supposed to be here today. So at this point, let me call on stage our stock market talk presenter, Sandy Gilias, who is the first Metro Securities Brokerage Corporation. Let's give him a big hand.
Honorable dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's my honor and privilege to be able to present to you some information on where would be a good place to start to look for instruments to invest in. And I will mention today St. Augustine shares of stock, as well as the Toronto Stock Exchange and Philippine and ASEAN stocks. St. Augustine's shares are listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange. I would characterize them as low-priced and with good potential. They're trading at 0.22 Canadian dollars. They've had a recent high of 0.49, a low of 0.09, and are now at 0.22. Was this the highest ever? No, the price once reached 1.95. I'm hoping that once the King mine starts producing, you'll reach 1.95 and beyond. So get the stock early. There might be a question, how are Toronto TSE stocks in general? The answer is that they're doing okay. The stocks in Toronto have been up 3.4% over the last 6 months. And then that means that 6 months ago they were somewhere at the level of 12,170, and they're now at 12,593. That represents 70% of the market. Now, there might be a question, what's the movement now on Philippine stocks as compared to Toronto stocks? Let's see. Here's Philippine stocks. They've been up 14% in 6 months versus Toronto. Everybody's okay with Toronto's 3.4, but many people are very angry at the 14% of the Philippines in 6 months, mainly because there's been a huge drop in recent days. What happened there? Well, the market was up 62% since January of 2012, and then it went down 11% since May 22. But I think it's just reasonable to expect some form of rest period for the stock market. It's actually been running a marathon since 2009. From the level of 2,000, it's been climbing up to 7,300. I think like any athlete, you'd be out of breath and suffering cramps by now. So a rest period would be in order. What was happening at the beginning of the year was, here in the Philippines, the stockbrokers were saying to one another, where do you think the market would go? And somebody said, most people said, 25% increase would be reasonable to expect. That meant that the index number would probably go from 5,800 to 7,300. So people said, that may be a reasonable number. And then all of a sudden, there was good news about the credit rating that went to investment grade. And then the market went berserk, started going up like very strongly. Practically, it reached the December target by April and May. So it's like a person who arrives early for a meeting. You have to kill some time before the meeting actually starts. Or you might want to rest a bit before the meeting starts. What actually happened in recent weeks was that the market seems to have dropped like a rock, and to the consternation of many investors. I think it's not really a very doomsday scenario. I think that the market can still recover till year end following this hypothetical path. And I think the fundamentals are intact, and only mostly U.S. investors have fled. The reason is that for the past 4 years, they've been experiencing lower and lower interest rates, and the Federal Reserve is trying to push interest rates down to zero. So dollars have been escaping, so to speak, to Asia. But now the chairman of the Federal Reserve is hinting that he might stop this program of lowering interest rates. So I'm going to give you a little background. Why do they need to rev up the engine? People think the U.S. economy is growing, but too slowly, so you need to stimulate it. How do you do that? Well, the economy has a normal cycle, up cycle and down cycle. If you overshoot on the upside, that's not good. That's called overheating, leading to inflation. If you overshoot on the downside, that's not good. It's depression, no jobs. So what you need to do is prevent the shooting downwards and try to stimulate the economy to ward off depression. And the ideal situation is a smooth curve for the economic path of growth. That would be the best case scenario. There are two ways to stimulate the economy. One is government spending. The other is lower interest rates. If the U.S. economy is weak and growth is slow, then the government spends to prime the pump. Also, if you have they want to lower the interest rates so that it will stimulate business activity. So that's how you would stimulate the economy to ward off depression. Chairman Bernanke calls it quantitative easing. It's an acronym of QE. Quantitative easing means lower interest rates and putting more money in the hands of people. Well, last week he said, I think it's okay. I think I wish to stop the quantitative easing soon because I think I might see signs that the U.S. economy might be growing faster. So a lot of bond market investors started running back to the mainland USA saying, it looks like we can now invest in U.S. Treasury bonds. They're not pushing the interest rates down to zero. It might go up to 1 or 2%. That's good news. And then those who were invested in Asian stocks went running back to the U.S. mainland as well, thinking that the economy might grow faster now. It's been like a strong movement of dollars back to the U.S., and Asian markets fell. The Philippines fell 10% since May 22, Indonesia -5%, Thailand -6%. If it's the first time for an investor to see red, I would understand the consternation, the panic. But you must know that declines happen every year. They happen every year. In the Philippines, we had a 14% decline 3 years ago, 14% again in 2011, and then -7% in 2012. So in every instance, the market recovered and moved up higher. After all, this is the country that gets 30 howling typhoons every year. So I think that once this market recovers, hot money will come galloping back. And the question is now, what stock would be good to buy? Well, before I recommend any Philippine stock, I would like to recommend St. Augustine Gold and Copper Limited, 22.22 Canadian dollars. All you have to do is head over to Toronto, Canada, and go for St. Augustine. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Enjoy your lunch. I have been Alexander Giles, and this is my email address should you have any questions, comments, or complaints. So that would be it. Thank you. Please enjoy your lunch, and we'll resume in about 20 minutes, gentlemen.
I'll try to kick out of the Wyoming drawl syndrome. So to kick things off, we've got to keep the attorneys happy. So if you'll read with me beginning, no, actually we won't. But just so you're aware, there is a forward-looking statement associated with this presentation. I'm very grateful to St. Augustine and to the Philippine Mine Luncheon for allowing me the opportunity to talk to you about the King project, and especially about the technical, social, and permitting aspects of the project. I'm also very grateful to have so many of our executives from the Natacor team here with us today, with Mr. Calalang, Mr. Nitareta, Mr. Ayala, Mr. Savella, Mr. Ricafort, and many other of the Natacor team. This group is very committed to developing the King project in a responsible manner that addresses both the social, environmental, technical, and financial aspects of the project. As many of you know, the King project is located on Mindanao Island in the province of Compostela Valley, Pantucan Municipality. It's about 35 air miles northeast of Davao, roughly 90 kilometers by road, and the project itself is about 17 miles inland from the tidal waters. The deposit, as most deposits, has a high-grade zone that can be mined in the early years to improve the project economics and the shareholder return. So as we've looked at the project and developed it, we've focused on mining the higher-grade ore early on, and as you can see, we average approximately 267 million tons. I got to make an adjustment. 267 million pounds of copper and 395 million ounces of gold as our average annual production in those early years of mine life. This production will come primarily from a mill concentrator, and in addition to that production, we plan to produce copper, cathode copper, from a heap leach pad where the oxide ore will be leached using an acid leach solution. An additional 83 million pounds of copper will be produced from the heap leach pad. This project's been around for many years. Mitsubishi began drilling the project. Echo Bay's had a drilling program, Benguet, and most recently St. Augustine. So there's over 300 holes that have been drilled, 95,000 meters of core and RC drilling that have been completed to develop the project. As we talk about the geology and the resource, I want to also recognize our Manager of Business Development, Mr. Ed Tabanda. I believe he's in the back of the room. Ed, are you still with us? Yeah, hopefully he's here. Any geology questions, I'm going to quickly refer to Ed. Also from our San Augustine Services team, we have MJ Marianen, who's our Public Relations Coordinator, and Ralph Ariano, who's our IT Coordinator. The deposit is open at depth and to the north and to the east. So additional exploration could increase the known resource over the life of the mine and extend the mine operating life. The resource is based on $2.50 per pound copper and $1,100 per ounce gold. As you can see, there's over 962 million tons of measured and indicated, and 133 million tons of inferred ore in the resource. As I said, a lot of the production will come from the mill concentrator, where we'll process approximately 60,000 tons per day, with an additional 40,000 tons of ore being leached on the heap leach pad. The strip ratio, especially in the early years, is very low as compared to the industry standard at 0.82 tons of waste to a ton of ore, and a 1.07 life of mine strip ratio. The proximity to the tidewater makes it easy for the concentrate shipments, as well as for getting in reagents, other supplies that will be needed for the project. So as part of our development, we have a port planned near Pantucan to allow us access to the tidal waters. In the figure there, you see the resource pit, which is 6 phases of open pit mining, and then the red outline is the potential expansion with a 7th phase that would require potentially some additional drilling and economic factors to be able to increase based on the known resource. There is additional exploration potential to the north on the tenement in the areas of Binaton, Diat, and to the south, Bacata. Exploration potential exists outside of the known resource. So as we move into operation, or as additional funding becomes available, we do have plans to do additional drilling in these areas. Just a quick overview of the process plant. We will have a crusher near the mine, and then plan to convey the crushed material on an overhead conveyor from the mine to the processing facility with a split directing some of the ore to the mill and concentrator and other ore to the leach pad. A sag mill, ball mills for grinding the ore, rougher and cleaner flotation for the concentrate. The leach pad, as well as a tailings leach circuit, will be that leach solution will be routed to an SXEW plant, where we'll produce cathode copper. As part of the leach pad as well, there's an agglomeration. So the leach pad process includes secondary crushing, agglomeration, and then leaching. This shows the cross-section of the pit with the measured, indicated, and inferred resource. And it shows a little bit the potential for that expansion into a phase 7. This is a three-dimensional view of the pit looking to the east. As you can see, the small diagram in the lower left there showing the orientation to the north, with some of the drill holes into the pit and the perimeter. In 2012, we completed the preliminary feasibility study and also the NI 43101 compliant technical report. We submitted our EIS initially to EMB in February of 2012, where they completed an initial completeness review, and we were able to sign the MOA for the review and approval of the EIS. We've also completed a third-party review of the EIS. In addition to the contractor preparing it, we had a third-party consultant review and provide input. The Declaration of Mine Project Feasibility documents were submitted to MGB on May 4th, and the Region 11 completeness review has been on hold since that time. As part of the permitting process, we've completed 2 IEC meetings in the 5 affected barangays, informing the community of our plans and receiving their input as far as the development of the project. It's a world-class team that's been assembled to work on the feasibility study and the permitting, and we're very happy to have some representatives from Halcro with us today. They're designing the port facility for us. Also, A.V. Garcia, a local contractor here in Manila, is designing the power plant. ECI is doing our EIS, and Axeltech has been preparing the Declaration of Mine Project Feasibility. A very important aspect of the development, or 2 very important aspects, are the environmental and social aspects. As we all know, if we can't address, or you can't mine in a responsible manner, environmentally and socially responsible, you can't get financing. You just, in this market and this day, it's just not acceptable not to fully address the environmental and social aspects of a project. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about some of our environmental programs as well as our social. We've recently sent members of the community to a SALT training, Sloping Agricultural Land Technology. These members of the community, the indigenous people, as well as the local residents, learn how to raise crops or plant trees or other agricultural activities on the very steep slopes that lie in the mountains above Pantucan. As a part of that program, we then have a nursery within the Pantucan municipality where we develop the seedlings or the smaller trees that can be planted in these areas. So it allows a sustainable development or a sustainable livelihood for these people, but it's done in an environmentally responsible manner. We're also very involved and very supportive of the National Greening Program. So the nursery raises bamboo trees, coffee, mangoes, rubber trees, and many others, a wide variety of trees that can be provided to members of the community so that they can develop a sustainable livelihood on their property. It allows them the opportunity to raise crops, sell them, and have some income. And it all begins with the nursery and providing training and plants for the individuals. We've also established a mangrove area along the coast where we've begun the development of that mangrove habitat by planting the initial trees along the coast. As Leo mentioned, the project is one of the 3 priority projects as listed by MGB. We have received our endorsements from the barangays, the municipality, and the province as part of the DMPF process for developing the project. And we're also working very closely with the indigenous people. And we have developed MOUs with many of the sub-tribes in the project area. As this project is developed, it'll provide a significant economic benefit to the municipality of Pantucan, to Compostela Valley, and to the Philippines. There are over 5,900 jobs that will be available during construction of the project. And once in operation, there'll be 1,700 careers where people will be able to work for over 20 years as part of the mining operation. The project generates a large amount of royalty and taxes, as many of you know, that will be paid into the indigenous people, to the local government units, and to the national government that will assist in that economic engine that I previously discussed. We also, as a company, we have a policy of local hire and purchase of local goods. So to the extent possible, any of the needs, be it contractors, materials, supplies, and of course our workforce, will be retained or purchased from local sources. As part of that commitment, we signed an agreement with TESDA to provide training for the locals so that we could have a workforce with the talent and the skills that is needed to operate the mine. We signed that agreement in 2012, and we're looking forward to getting to that point where we can begin training people in advance of construction and operation of the mine. Also highlighted in the picture are our close relationship with the Mansaka tribe, the indigenous people that exist there in the municipality. We have a very good relationship with the chieftain, as well as many of the council members and the sub-tribe leadership. Governor Uy has been great to work with, very supportive. We have a great relationship with Governor Uy and think a lot of him. And as Leo talked about, when Typhoon Pablo devastated Compostela Valley, Governor Uy stepped up with many programs to rebuild his province. And Leo, along with others, have organized many efforts to assist Governor Uy in rebuilding Compostela Valley, and we're very pleased to have been able to be a part of that effort. We recently donated 100 wheelchairs in Pantucan and then also in Compostela Valley. Appreciate the Philippine resources and their coverage of the donation that we gave to Compostela Valley. And as you will notice in the magazines today, there's an article on the donation. The distribution of those wheelchairs was done in conjunction with Governor Uy and Mayor Talk. Also, as our efforts to establish these international relationships, we were able to introduce Conrado Callalan, the president of NADACOR, with Ambassador Thomas, the U ambassador here, and we're grateful for Katie and Jessica for being here with us today from the ambassador's office. In the community, we've focused on supporting education, health care, infrastructure, and livelihood. So we've been involved in projects such as Gawad Kalinga to provide housing for local residents. We've assisted in the rebuilding or new construction of Parak centers, barangay halls, a new hall for the Mansaka tribe, tribal hall. These show more of the efforts. We've found that the schools have a real need for school supplies for the children. So each year we provide needed school supplies. Very successful last year. We have another effort planned for next week. Also computers, televisions, other things to assist the teachers in presenting the material to the students. We provided a ultrasound machine for the hospital there in Pantucan to assist them in their health care, provide what they provide for the community. Another program that's been a real success, and this was a new concept to me, but one I think has a lot of merit, and that is the faith gardening. And faith is an acronym for food always in the home. So Pete Cancino and Jojo Banez, our operations manager and community relations manager, have been very successful in working with the local procs to establish these gardens where the community can have a plot within the garden and be able to raise food and vegetables for their family. So again, we provide the seedlings or the seeds, and the community does the work to prepare the beds and to raise the food, and then they harvest that food. These are just a few pictures of the nursery. It's about a half a hectare in size, and extensive level of effort that's gone into developing and maintaining the nursery. The variety of plants, trees that are available has gotten more and more diversified as the community begins to see the benefit of the nursery and request for the different varieties of plants. We have coffee now where we have plants that are sustainable, and we harvest the seedlings from the coffee plants in the nursery, as well as bringing in other trees to assist the community. Well, that's what I have prepared. I appreciate, again, the opportunity to discuss the project with you, and if there's time, Leo, I'll entertain any questions.
I'll just move this down a minute. Thank you very much, Clyde. So the floor is open now for questions, and the rule is if you do ask the question, there are mics that are deployed. Sorry, oh, there it is.
Jeff Boswell, MRL Gold. Just wondering, looks like a lot of work you've been doing here. When do you expect to start the project, start cutting ground and producing ore?
Well, good question, Jeff. I appreciate that. And as you know, if it was tomorrow, it wouldn't be soon enough. But we're looking at probably in completing the feasibility study and getting into construction. We'd probably be out into 2015 under our current schedule to start construction.
So those of you looking to sell some trucks and equipment, you know the date. Any more questions from the floor? None? Okay. So you're talking about September, what? 2015, right. In terms of government support, have you in any way felt that you were getting the support that you needed? Were there any hurdles in trying to deal with the DNR, for instance, in trying to get the project going? If so, well, if they were extremely difficult and you don't wish to disclose what those difficulties were, that's fine. But something that what we'd like to do is get some sharing here of experience, because you're one of the companies that is now advancing, and I'm sure companies here that will soon follow in your footsteps would certainly like to know what the sort of, I guess, what the temperature is in the DNR in their willingness to support a project like yours.
Yeah, well, that's a very good question, and I want to address that one a little bit at length, if I can, because as Leo discussed in my introduction, most of my experience has been in the U.S. So I'll tell you a little bit about the U.S. system, and then maybe that'll put in perspective why I share with you my perception of the Philippine agencies and permitting process. In the U.S., the process has become very convoluted. You know, we have the EPA, we have Corps of Engineers, and we have the land management agencies with the BLM and the Forest Service, and they each have their own programs, and they each operate independent of the other agencies. So that's the federal level. Then have a state permitting process where you work with various state agencies, you know, Department of Environmental Conservation, DNR, another layer. And again, most of those programs are independent of each other, and they don't coordinate well. And many times it's the applicant who has to coordinate the agency efforts. Now, there are a few exceptions to that, Alaska being one, but for the most part, the proponent is responsible for agency coordination. So after working in that system for many years, when I got to the Philippines, the first thing I had to do was learn the system. And fortunately, we had some very good consultants. We had a very good group of managers and staff. And the agencies were very willing to sit down and talk about their programs and help get me up to speed on what the requirements were. So yes, we've had our hurdles. In my mind, they're smaller hurdles than what I would anticipate in the U.S., and the coordination and the agency cooperation has been much better. So I feel very comfortable with the way we've been treated, the way we've been welcomed, and the agencies working with us and being able to move this project forward in the future. So my hat's off. I have a lot of compliments for the Philippine program. I think it's adequate. I think that the mining industry is regulated in a manner that's protective of the environment. There's social requirements. I think it's a robust system, but I don't think it's overly complicated.
Thank you for those comments. There's room for one more question, and if there's none, we will close the Q&A. So, any questions from the floor? Well, going? Well, gone. Well, thanks very much. Please join me to thank Clyde Gillespie for his time and his presentation. But before you go, let me present to you a token of appreciation. And this huge thing that's in this green bag is actually a handmade product of Iraya Mangyans of Puerto Galera. Yeah, if you rub it, it will be a flying carpet, a flying basket. No. These are baskets that are very intricately woven by the Mangyans of Puerto Galera. So thank you very much. And the other one is that, which is the flyer in very large size with your photograph on it. And thanking you again, Clyde, for being with us today. Sure.
Thank you for the gifts, and you know, being new to the Philippines and being the outside guy coming in, I want to express my appreciation to a lot of people who have welcomed me into this country and have assisted me along this wonderful journey I've been on for the past couple of years. And one of those people is Leo, and I have really enjoyed interaction with him. He helped my wife, showed her around Davao on one of her trips as a part of the Helping Hands program. Very grateful for that. But for Leo, for Kevin, and for Jocelyn, we would like to express our appreciation as a company for the efforts that you do for the mining industry and especially for this luncheon. So we have a token of our appreciation for you, if that's acceptable.
Thanks. Kevin, come up. If you don't, I'll take both. Thank you. Jocelyn and Kevin, if you don't show up here in a second, the second bottle of wine goes to me. So hoof it. Okay. So well, on behalf of the Philippine Mining Luncheon, and I'm sure Kevin as well as Joss, thank you very much. This was a token of appreciation we weren't expecting.
No, not at all. No, not at all.
No. So thanks very much. Okay. So maybe a photo, yeah. A photo. Here.
Did you mention the...
Yes. And everyone.
All right.
Everybody over here.
Sorry, mate. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just a little reminder that the weather is soon changing, and the people from the government agency that tells us about the weather have informed me that if last year was bad, this year is expected to be worse. So it is most likely that we will have more Typhoon Pablos to deal with. And the Pusong Minero of the mining industry, of which many of us in this room are a part, always steps up to the plate to do what it can to help. And you know, these typhoons, we don't know where they're hitting anymore. Mindanao might be, again, a target. We see this big weather system that is about to land, and we don't know whether it's going to hit Tombal again. But well, the point of my message is today that we will at some point get involved in another relief operation, and I hope that those of you who are in touch with the Philippine Mine Safety Environment Association Pusong Minero program will not be difficult to be reached when the time comes. And the support that we will need, depending on where landfall is, will be number one, ground support wherever it hits. The experience that we had with St. Augustine in Pantukan in Combal was an excellent experience. The ground support they gave is something to, I guess, to benchmark, because so far it was tremendous. It was everything that our volunteers needed on the ground from the moment we landed to the time we left was taken care of. The company, all the arrangements that had to be made with local governments were made previously. All the interviews with the communities that were affected, finding out what sort of medical problems that they had, what sort of medicines they would need, so that we would then be better prepared with the type of medical people coming and the type of medicines we would be bringing. So all of that was done, and so think about it, ladies and gentlemen, in your own areas where you have your mining projects, you have to be ready. And what I'd like to encourage you people to think about is that when you do have your projects, you will be required under your contracts with government to have spending of what, 1.5% of your project cost for what do they call it? Now I'm slipping. What is it? What do you spend? What do you call it? SDMP, Social Development Programs. So think about it. This SDMP need not just be about planting trees and farms. It could also be used for disaster preparedness. We're going to get hit. You might as well be training the people in your communities to be better prepared. And you know what? The people in your community that are being prepared could be called on to go to another part of the country this year to help a disaster. And if a disaster hits your community, the people you have helped will come back and help you. It's going to be reciprocal. And if the mining companies could think of what type of expertise in disaster relief operations they're going to be developing in their communities, perhaps there could be a discussion amongst you about how to spread out those skills so that it could be all organized to help each other out around the country whenever. Right? It's not just helping other areas that have mining projects, but other areas in general. And this, for me, speaks well of how corporate social responsibility by the mining industry can be developed and demonstrated for the benefit of all. So, again, it's something to expect, and I hope you're all a little more ready, having heard this, to be of assistance. Our speaker for the August 16 luncheon is the CEO of the Australian Minerals Council, Mitch Hook. Mitch Hook, CEO of the Australian Minerals Council. By the way, if you do not have your details for luncheon notifications, please leave a business card at the door. I'll give it to one of the ladies. And right now, I'm being reminded that we have a wine raffle draw, and it's all based on the calling card that you put in. I know I put 5 in. No, I have not. I'm not allowed. May I call on Mr. Kalalang to pick out how many? 5? 5. You have to be here to win. Okay. From McDonald Consultants, Michael David McDonald. Are you here? Come and claim your prize. Very good. There he is. Once you've come over to get your prize, please stay behind because I know Homer's gonna, Dean's gonna wanna have to take a shot of you with the rest of the group. Sinclair Night Merch Philippines Inc. David Smith, are you here? David? Going? Gone. Too bad. So I'm going to pull the extra card. From CH2M Hill, Philippines Inc., Nixon Ryan Matias, are you here? No? Oh, Mr. Kalalang will need to pull another card here. Derek Mullen of Philippine Resources, are you here? Sir, you're good. Thanks very much, Mr. Kalalang. From Unilox Industrial Corporation, Rom Monhardin. Please stay behind for a photo so we have evidence that you were here. Oh, no, Bradley Norman. This is, gee, some people are lucky. And finally, we have one more. One more? One more. Nando Achabal, are you here? Hey, Nando. You better be. Oh, there you are. Okay. Is that everything or there's one more? 2 girls. I have to get girls. Oh, no. No. Christy Javier, are you here? From Andritz Separation. Is this a marriage counseling company? There you are. Christy, please. Oh, from RLB, Ryder Levitt Bucknell. Corazon Bollard. Bollard, are you here? Corazon Bollard? Yes. Please, are we going to have a photograph? Where's Dean? No? Oh, one more. Yes. Please stay. We'll have a quick photo. Quick photo. Dean's going to fire away. So while this photograph is being taken, is there one more? Oh, one more. Oh, I'm told some lucky lady is going to be. Poor guys. It's all girls from now on. Oh. Sorry, I just have to find the girl cards. Oh. You're not a girl. No, you're not a girl. Can I just choose one member of the? Yes. Can I have the ladies from the embassy? Or shall we? You choose. You know how to do Jack and Poi? You know? Okay, one of you come up and yeah. So here. Thank you very much. Okay, a quick shot of the winners, and while they're being shot, let me again thank all of you for being here. This session is closed and the bar is open. Thank you very much.